It's almost certainly impossible to appreciate the beauty of an explosion. But I like to think of it as a game of pinball, with a single atom propelled forward, bouncing back and forth, losing electrons, hurtling through the gaps in what we see as a solid thing, a unit, like a grain of gunpowder, say, until suddenly multiple, with a flash of many colored lights, all the others come alive, and then things become much too fast to follow. They turn nervous and frantic, twitchy, and as they twist and tumble together, they leave behind them trails of searing light, weave them into the shape of a fiery flower you can only see bloom once. And it's almost certainly unbearable to try and hear the music and the noise of an explosion. But I like to think of it as that moment in a song when the bass line finally kicks in. After the introductory clicks and clacks of the drumsticks, smack the edge of the snare and the close hi-hat, and yeah, we've heard too many songs not to know what's coming. But still, when the muffled chords explode, triggered by the kick drum, they reach through your throat, down to your stomach. You can never be ready for this. And it's almost certainly immaterial what the weather was like at the time of an explosion, but in my mind I see a sepia snapshot of a perfect summer afternoon, with the weather all the better because you have to provide your own blue for the sky, come up with your own white for the clouds, your own faded red for the bricks, your own brown for those strange stains on the pavement, and there are no people in this picture. The exposure was too long, so just here and there, a hand that lingered on a doorknob, a hesitating foot, a blur, a hint of presence, but no more. And it's almost certainly irrelevant. Just one life lost in an explosion, but I like to believe that someone, somewhere, refuses to acknowledge numbers like 200,000 or 85%, and instead they chronicle meticulously the pattern of displaced cobblestones, the frantic flight of startled birds, the words still legible and letters spilling from a leather bag, and the balletic grace of a body flying slowly through the air, trailing blood like an afterthought on this perfect summer afternoon. And they will know that she was 29, that she hadn't seen her sons in a week, that she had written a love letter in the morning, believing against all evidence that this time things will just work themselves out. And I like to believe that just before the shrapnel hit, she stopped for a moment with her hand on the doorknob, balancing on one foot, thinking she had just heard the beginning of a song.